Panto. I joined it in the Manor School. Patsy Sheridan was directing. Followed a woman into it. Lost interest in horns. Loved the Panto. But went to a few. I shouldn't say that really, but you're still out there, aren't you? Hi. It went to Michael did a few, and it was on and off, but it was coming and going and dying and what have you. So I one night, I don't know what it was. Oh yes, I had left. I was on the executive of the Opera Festival when I had a bit of a tiff, and I left. 84. So I rang Kelly and I said, Jimmy, we'll have to get this Panto going again. And he said, I'm in. So we called a meeting anyway, and in Bill Martin's over, and there was 21 elected to the committee. I wasn't one of them. I remember walking out that night in the blue jacket. I'll never forget. I said, Jesus Christ, what did I do wrong there? Oh, I was not supposed to curse, sorry. But anyway, so that was the reason I got going. I wanted to act, Wayne. It was the reason I wanted to do it. But sure, I ended up then being General Dog's body. Everything had to be done. And you just, as you know well, you cannot do both. I tried several times and made a cat's manaki of it. So that was the reason behind it. And I thought I'd do it for a couple of years, and that was it. And 23 years later, I was still there, you know. Lucky I was 7 when I started it now. I was never in tops, ever. I never joined. I found it too competitive and too, there was too much argy-bargy. And I was trying to steer that as in the middle ground, that everybody could be in this, and there was no competition involved in it as such. That was a kind of a mad thought I had in my head. And it was difficult. Money particularly, we had a gant starting. It literally had a bomb between us. No insurance, no nothing, but we went on. It was £860 the first one cost us to put on. So the production values were a little bit soft. But literally we did it by, and it was literally town hall stuff. That's what it was now in those days. But that's all we could afford. Yeah. And it was clothes and what have you. And I mean, I used to get some awful ribbon, like Aladdin we did one year, and there was about 4 baubles in a you remember that, you do?
That was Alibaba.
Was it? Yeah. I blushed at that one now, actually. But it was literally, it was live horse, eat grass, you know, and that was it. That's what we could do. But it was great. It was actually great fun, really good fun. And I really enjoyed those first 10 years, building it up, until we got to the stage where we had actually a cash flow and we could pay insurance, and you know, it was a legitimate thing. And there was always we had a great clientele. I mean, I spent up in that corner there.
I remember you.
I'd stand there looking back, and I used to I'd get more joy out of watching the kids' faces and the mammies and daddies. It was great fun, but it was hard work. I mean, the committee of 21, we never saw them again, any of them, just Jimmy and myself. Now, in fairness, we probably are not the most democratic people in the world. It was a bit of a junta, so it worked, you know, and Jimmy and I were a little bit contrary, both of us, but we never had a row because we knew what our roles were, and we did them, and it was done. And we had a great partnership and great fun. Yeah, I didn't know Denny, actually. The only way I knew Denny was my uncle, Noel Cantwell, worked in the foundry, and I used to go and get the stuff there in the truck. And that's how I met Denny, not through shows. And I can't actually remember. I remember going out to the house to him, asking would he do it. And you know Denny now, he was never how would I say, he was never a demonstrative man. Yeah. And he just looked at me and said, yeah, I could do that. Really soft-spoken voice it was. And again, it was kind of an unspoken, there was no contracts, there was no handshakes, it was just, we just gelled together, and it went on, and we just became an unspoken team, the three of us. And he used to drive me mad at times. I want a bed, I wanted that size, I wanted that long, and that's it. And I'd bring it in from the stage. That's too big. So I'd be about the back with the saw and they'd rehearse on the stage, cutting this thing in half, you know. And I used to say to him, you're right to do what you want. But then he amused me laugh. He was, as you know, he's a mild man, never blew the hat. But when you saw him take the hat off, and he scratched the back of the head, and then if you threw it on the ground, he said he's going to fly. And by jizz would he fly. He'd give it socks, but gentleman. We always got on like a house on fire. House on fire.